Doma without Muzan, a different fate. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, we're taking a darkly intriguing what-if tour through the world of Demon Slayer. What if Doma, the infamous upper-rank demon, had never been bound to Muzan Kibutsuji? In this alternate reality, Doma finds himself behind the scenes unaided by Muzan's heavy-handed oppression and forced cruelty, allowing room for a radical future. Without Muzan's influence, Doma's innate ability is a double-edged sword. Now free from his legacy of unending carnage, he stands at a fork in the road. Follow the path of darkness, or use his gifts in search of salvation. This is not only a power struggle. It is a struggle of identity and choice, amid rumors within the Demon Slayer corpse of a mysterious, tortured demon who defies all expectation. The line between good and evil is blurred. In this reimagined universe, every battle Doma engages in is about fighting against his very instincts, in an attempt to find meaning behind his life. He has to confront his past misdeeds and ask himself whether a bright future is even possible for a person born in darkness. Through his journey, he questions the very concept of fate, trying to prove that even demons can redeem themselves. So, could liberation from Muzan's grip trigger a reformation of Doma's spirit? The awakening of a conscience. For Doma, as a demon, life was all indulgence. But here, away from Muzan's oppressive gaze, he must finally contend with the truth. He hungers, but not for human flesh, for purpose. He stalks the world's underbelly, trying to find answers that neither his cultists nor his former cruelty can provide. Doma does not have any of the forward momentum of his fellow upper-ranked demons, who are always on the job for Muzan. In his eternal life, he feels mere flesh without blood, and he finally starts questioning whether it was indeed a blessing or merely a different brand of servitude. What if he could choose another path? What if he could control the very urges that defined him? What if, instead of surrendering to his instincts, he could carve out a new destiny with his own hands? These thoughts consume him, making him question every act of brutality he once committed without hesitation. The lack of Muzan's influence has unshackled him. But without guidance, he is adrift in the vast, endless night. Encounters with the Demon Slayers. The rumors spread quickly among the Demon Slayer corps. A powerful demon who is yet to harm a single innocent soul? It sounds like a trap, an elaborate deception, and yet, those who face them find themselves confronted with something unthinkable. A demon who does not wish to fight. The first encounter is with a lower-ranked slayer, a girl barely in her teens. She readies her blade, expecting a ferocious attack. But instead, Doma simply stands there, his usual eerie smile oddly melancholic. "You're afraid of me," he muses, tilting his head. "I don't blame you. But what if I told you I wasn't here to kill you?" She hesitates, a mistake in any other situation. But Doma does not lunge. He does not attack. He simply vanishes into the mist, leaving behind only more questions. This interaction reaches the Hashira, and soon, he becomes a target for observation. The Wind Hashira, Sanemi Shinazugawa, is the first to react with fury. "A demon who doesn't kill? Don't be fooled. They're all the same." His voice is laced with venom as he insists that demons are irredeemable, and that this is nothing but a sick game. But the Serpent Hashira, Obanai Iguro, is more skeptical than hostile. "If this demon is truly different, we must understand why." They send a scout, a mid-ranked slayer known for his keen instincts. He tracks Doma to an abandoned temple, hidden deep within a forest, expecting an ambush. What he finds shakes him to his core. Doma is seated in silence before a row of small, handcrafted wooden figures resembling people. They are crude carvings, but unmistakable in form. The scout steps closer, realizing that each one has a name carved into its base. Some are slayers who have long perished in battle. Others are innocent villagers, victims of demons. But the most striking figures are those of the upper moons, each with a single deep scratch across their faces. A mark of regret, perhaps? Doma turns his head slightly, sensing the Slayer's presence. "Do you believe in atonement?" he asks, his voice soft, distant. The Slayer does not respond. He cannot. The weight of what he sees, what it suggests, is too much to process. He withdraws, reporting his finding to the corpse. This development fractures the Hashira's response. Some, like Mitsuri Kanroji, wonder if Doma could truly be different. Demons can change, can't they? If Nezuko could, why not him? She asks, hopeful, but others, like Yomi Himajima, remain cautious. Compassion is not the same as foolishness, he warns. Then the inevitable happens. Doma is confronted by one of the strongest Hashira, Giyu Tomioka. The encounter is brief but intense. Giyu, ever silent, watches him with cold, calculating eyes, his sword drawn but unmoving. Doma, for once, does not smile. Are you here to kill me, or to understand me? He asks, his tone unreadable. Giyu says nothing. Instead, he observes. He sees the way Doma moves, not with the aggression of a predator, but with the weariness of someone burdened by something unseen. And for the first time, he hesitates. But hesitation is dangerous. Word of Doma's existence reaches Muzan, who sees his former subordinate's defiance as an unforgivable betrayal. He sends Kokushibo, the upper rank one, to deliver punishment. The battle between Doma and Kokushibo is unlike anything witnessed before. It is not only a fight of strength, but of conviction. Doma, once a loyal follower, now fights for something uncertain. His path. Steel meets ice as their clash shatters the silence of the forest. Kokushibo is relentless, his centuries of mastery making him an overwhelming force. Doma, despite his power, begins to falter. But it is not fear that grips him. It is clarity. This is what I once was, he murmurs as he dodges a fatal strike. A servant to something greater. A pawn, just like you. Kokushibo's expression remains impassive. But for a fraction of a second, his blade wavers. Doma seizes the moment, vanishing into the shadows. He does not win, but he does not fall either. He escapes, not out of cowardice, but out of necessity. Now, he is not just a rumor. He is a hunted man. Both the Demon Slayer Corps and Muzan's forces seek him. But for the first time in his existence, he is free. Free to choose. Free to fight, not for a master, but for his truth. The question remains, will he find redemption, or is he doomed to be lost between light and darkness forever? Clashing with the Hashira. The inevitable confrontation arrives when Doma crosses paths with the Mist Hashira, Muichiro Takedo. Young, brilliant, and ruthless, Muichiro does not believe in the possibility of a harmless demon. He strikes first, unleashing his breath of mist techniques in a flurry of movement too fast for the human eye. Doma defends, but he does not retaliate. You misunderstand me, he says, dodging effortlessly. I do not seek to harm you. Muichiro does not listen. The battle is intense, a deadly dance of sword and claws. But as the fight progresses, an uncomfortable realization dawns on the Hashira. Doma is holding back. He is not fighting to kill. With the arrival of the Water Hashira, Giyu Tomioka, and the Love Hashira, Mitsuri Kanroji, the battle reaches a stalemate. The Hashira, skilled in reading intent, sense something unusual. Doma's bloodlust is restrained. Why? Giyu finally asks, lowering his blade slightly. Why do you not fight back? Doma laughs, though there is no joy in it. Because I'm tired. It is the first honest thing he has said in centuries. A demon's redemption. Despite their instincts telling them to destroy him, the Hashira hesitate. What does one do with a demon who does not wish to kill? Could he be turned into an ally? Would he betray them the moment his hunger returned? Doma himself is uncertain. He had spent centuries bathing in carnage, convinced of his apathy, but the absence of Muzan's command has forced him to feel guilt, regret, loneliness. He had never realized how deeply Muzan's influence dictated his every action. He begins to search for alternatives. What if there was a way to sustain himself without devouring humans? What if, instead of destruction, he could create something meaningful. An unlikely alliance. Intrigued by his change, Shinobu Kocho takes an interest. With her knowledge of poisons and medicine, she theorizes that if demons could be turned back into humans, perhaps there is a way to modify their cravings as well. It is an experimental process, but Doma agrees to try. The idea of consuming synthetic blood, of finding a way to exist without slaughter, is foreign, but not impossible. His followers, initially confused, watch as their godlike figure changes before their eyes. Some abandon him, seeing weakness in his new philosophy. Others, however, stay, convinced that his path may lead to something even greater than before. The final trial. Of course, not everyone believes in his reformation. Akaza, his fellow upper-rank demon, views his actions as a betrayal. "You disgrace what it means to be a demon," he snarls. "If you won't fight for our kind, then you should die as a failure." Their battle is ferocious, a clash of two opposing ideals. Doma, once a carefree murderer, now fights not for death, but for life, his own and those he wishes to protect. For the first time, he feels something real. In this alternate reality, Doma is not defined by Muzan's control. He is a being of his own choices, his morality. He may never be fully human, but he is no longer a mindless killer either. His journey remains uncertain. Can a demon truly change? Can he earn the trust of those he once terrorized? The answers are left open-ended. But one thing is certain, without Muzan, Doma's fate is no longer written in blood. For the first time in his existence, he is truly free.